Hey everybody, Sonny Borba here with Raider Aviation, and today's video is going to be about tracking your VOR. VOR navigation comes into play with cross-country flight planning and as well as other things, just situational awareness and knowing where you are and how to track to and from a VOR using the avionics in your airplane is a valuable skill for any pilot. This particular maneuver you're going to need to do with the foggles on. And it doesn't necessarily just have to be IMC conditions where you might not have good visibility or a visual horizon. You can imagine a dark night, little reference to the ground. There may be no lights. You're out in an area where you're away from the city lights and you have little to no horizon. So this could be close to instrument flying at that point, and being able to track to a VOR is where this skill comes into play. Staying in positive control of the airplane using your instruments for reference. And understanding your avionics in your airplane is a very important part of this. And let's cut to the clip and see how this maneuver is performed and tracked towards the Lubbock VOR for your private pilot check ride.
Alright guys, here we are in the cockpit. We're at 5,500 feet and we've cleared the area. We've got an emergency landing spot picked out off to our left. And we're going to show you how to track the VOR. So on the check ride, you're going to be required to do this under the hood. You'll have the foggles on, and you'll have to track to whatever VOR the examiner tells you to track to. So we've got Lubbock VOR pretty close, so we're going to use that one. So the first thing I'm going to do is come over here to the nav1 radio and dial in the Lubbock VOR frequency. And if you're not familiar with what it is, you want to definitely be able to open up ForeFlight or look at a chart or do whatever you need to find that frequency. We're going to put that in there, and then I need to make sure that my CDI button is on VLOC. Now you can see that the HSI came in and is starting to pick something up. I'm going to listen to the nav1 radio, see if I can identify that station. I hear the Morse code there. I would verify that on the chart that was the correct Morse code, and we've identified the Lubbock VOR. Next thing I'm going to do is turn my HSI to make sure that I'm getting a to flag. So let me turn this so it flips over to from. You can see the white flag going away from the yellow arrow. We want a to indication. There it is, and I'm going to turn this until that needle centers up. There we are. Now, I'm going to go ahead and turn to that heading. Morgan's dialing in the second nav radio to the same frequency and getting that dialed in. If you've got multiple nav radios, it's always good to check the backup and get multiple things tracking the same source just for the redundancy of it. A third thing that I would do is jump over here to the flight plan and enter the Lubbock VOR as a waypoint. To give me some directional guidance as well. So now that I've turned to this heading, there we go. Had to sync up the heading indicator to the compass real quick. I'll keep that turn coming around. There's a couple reasons I noticed that. Number one, we weren't lined up with the redundancy of what we had in the GPS. And I'm also seeing this heading on this OBS receiver right here, this VOR. The needle is centered. We're tracking this particular radial, and now at this point, it's all a matter of making sure that we're tracking according to the deflection on the needle. So if that needle deflects to the right, I'll make a small 5-degree adjustment to the right and fly that for a few minutes, wait for the needle to come back in, and then center it up again. It's all about making small corrections and flying that needle all the way to the VOR. Alright guys, thanks for watching. There's your tracking the VOR maneuver. We'll see you next time.